This team building activity is called Lava Pit. It takes maybe 20 minutes, but it can really be different depending on the group. It needs a space of about either 30 or 40 feet, also depending on the size of the group. And I would say maximum of 20 people. You need carpet squares and either a cone or something like that for a start and an end, or draw a line in the dirt, or you're gonna all go to that tree or something like that. So that's all the equipment that you need. So first of all, the goal, just so you know as the facilitator, is for the whole group to get from the staging or the starting area, so then past the first cone all the way to past the other cone, and that's on the carpet squares. The way to set it up is you do half plus one. So if you have 20 people doing it, you get 10 carpet squares plus one, so 11. And we have some small ones and some big ones. I usually like to use all the big ones we have, plus some small ones. Unless the group's really small, I don't want them to have all just big ones. I want them to have some diversity of size. So I would start it off by saying, who here has ever been to an active volcano? Just for interesting sake, right? And or who here has ever seen this show called The Floor is Lava? To give them an idea of where we're going. And so, okay, here are the rules. There are just 3 rules. Well, first of all, you tell them these are the stepping stones you're going to get from one side to the other. The stepping stones are safety. So number 1 is, once the first stepping stone crosses the line, it must be touched by a body part at all times, or it's taken. So you as the facilitator need to keep a super careful watch, because what will happen is they'll forget that and they'll just kind of get on autopilot and they'll toss it to then step on it, right? Toss it, then no body part is touching it, and then step, and then you walk over all nonchalant and take it and say, well, thank you so much. And they're like, what? And you're like, oh, then they get it. It happens a couple of times, usually, if you're really paying attention. That's the first rule. The second is no body part can touch the ground. Maybe that's kind of the same thing, but well, it's real related. And then the third is success is everyone gets to the other side. Nobody is thrown off the island or thrown into the lava pit. So then there's a staging area. Then once they cross this line, they're doing it. They can take as much time to plan or not plan as you want, that as they want. It'll be part of the debrief. If they start asking a lot of minutia questions, are we allowed to plan? Are we allowed to X, Y, and Z? I like to kind of cryptically go back to, here are the 3 rules, meaning that they get to interpret. If you didn't say anything about how much time they can plan or not plan or whatever, there's flexibility and freedom. However, also just make sure that they're doing things safely. Safety is always a priority with the team building exercises. Like nobody's piggybacking or getting on shoulders, or I don't know, whatever else. Now, if you don't need to tell them, you don't need to tell them this from the beginning. They think they've got one shot at it to get across to the other side. However, if you've taken a carpet square or a second carpet square, or even like third or fourth, you can tell them, now, if you want to restart, I'll give you back all the carpet squares, right? So that's it. And at the end, there's a lot to debrief. I like to often start with okay, a lot of feelings. We've always got feelings all the time. What were some feelings that came up? And people share those and you dig into those. Then to dig into a little bit about, do you think you do the right amount of action, the right amount of planning? How does that show up in your work lives as well? How did you feel if you, in quotes, messed up? You were one of the people who let go of a carpet square or whatever. How did people rally around or behind that person? Or did we criticize that person? It's okay for us to recognize that now, but what happens when somebody do we give grace around here or not? And then getting to, okay, so what's our lesson learned? What would we do different next time? Or what is the lesson we want to have transpire that we take with us throughout our day and throughout our lives? So that's everything. Enjoy!